Hello there and welcome back to the channel. First, a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed so far, and if you haven't already, please do, because it does help get these things off the ground. I've also had some brilliant comments and ideas and suggestions from people both on the Facebook and on YouTube, so please get back to me with your ideas. Well, what do you think to this? It's a very simple awning. It takes 2 minutes to put up, if that, and to take down, and it was dead easy to make. I'm going to go through the process of how I created it, so please enjoy. As an anchor for this build, you will need to have or acquire a roof rack. If, like me, your vehicle comes with sidebars, then you're at least halfway there. But I did have to find a pair of crossbars. Fortunately, I managed to find some in a local charity shop. Whilst I had them apart, I decided to give them a bit of a service and a good greasing. I had in mind looking for a length of aluminium box section, but I actually found another set of broken bars. Though not quite the right size, I did manage to bolt the two ends together to make a long tube. I was a little worried the two halves wouldn't be strong enough, but it worked out quite well. The next job was to estimate the size of the tarpaulin sheet I would need. After measuring the side of the car, I decided a 2 meter square would suit me just fine, so I ordered a suitable one off the internet. This double-sided sheet is heavy-duty, so should last the test of time and the weather. It has 8 tie eyes, which I decided I would use to create a good stable fastening. Laying the sheet down, I was able to estimate the final length of the tubing, which I duly marked up and cut down to size. This would ultimately be a permanent fixture attached to the roof rack and provide a stable staging from which to attach the sheet. Laying down the tubing up against the tarpaulin sheet, I was able to arrange everything up centrally and position the tube against the eyelets to mark their centres on the tubing with a marker. Measure twice and in this case drill once. I carefully made holes to take a fairly long bolt. This was secured by a lock nut, then covered in a short length of rubber tubing which will ultimately reduce the wear on the eyelets. 3 in total. These pins would provide firm anchorage from which to attach the sheeting. Finally, I secured the tubing to the roof rack and tested it to ensure it was secure. As you can see, it is not only functional, it actually looks quite tidy and doesn't detract from the lines and look of the car. The roof rack still has lots of carrying capacity, and I can easily still take a car storage roof box, or my mountain bike, kayak, or surfboard. The poles I salvaged from my allotment. They used to help support my runner beans. They just required a little trimming. And because they come apart, they are easy to store in the car and take up very little room. In the end, I made up 3 poles, the outer 2 of which I have added eye bolts to allow me to hang items such as a washing line or even lamps. My top tip this week are these little lamps I picked up on a visit to the local garden centre. Obviously, they can be bought on the net or in countless other shops. They are very slim, only an inch wide and about 7 inches long. Packed full of powerful LEDs, they produce a lot of light. And as they have a magnetic strip on the back, they can be placed anywhere. They also have a PIR sensor, which means they pop on when you are returning back to your van. My only reservation is that they have to take 4 AAA batteries and aren't rechargeable. I hope that you found my little awning build interesting. I find an awning is a really useful addition to my camps, as it provides some shade from the sun when we get it, and both protection from the rain and somewhere other than the van to get out of wet things. You can enlarge it, by the way, by adding a larger tarp with more poles and guy ropes. This example was just made to suit my needs. I thought it was time for me to sit down and have a chat about why I thought it was a good idea to start a camping YouTube channel in the depths of winter. Well, it came as a suggestion from a friend, as they often do. You see, I like to go visit beautiful and unusual places. I like to know the history and backgrounds before I visit, and so I often do a lot of research. Microcamping offers me cheap, affordable, comfortable accommodation on my trips, so really it's just a means to an end. In truth, my original idea was to be out there filming the places I visit, but the winter weather has had its own ideas. I do enjoy making things, and as I decided to give the car a bit of a revamp this year, vis-a-vis the camping, I thought as I'm not really getting out, I'd use the time to share with you some of my ideas and builds. I'm also going to look at some of the issues we encounter on our trips. So future blogs will be made up of a mixture of the two, with perhaps the weather dictating the programming. I've never been the sort of guy who walks up a mountain in the rain and the fog just to say I've done it or been there. I want to experience the journey, take in the beauty. Also, the sunshine tends to make the films and photographs look so much better. So I hope you will consider following me on this quest. Anyhow, it's time for me to go off and build a barbecue. So I'll see you again soon. And once again, thank you all so very much for watching. It's very much appreciated. Bye for now.